Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Hello, lovely one. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great summer so far. It's the summer holidays here for me. And quite frankly, I actually find that I have more headspace in the school holidays. And that might seem really odd that, having all 4 children around actually gives me more headspace. Well, do you know what I think it is? It's less of the load, the mental load of the logistics of school, clubs, calls about this and remembering that. Suddenly that's kind of off your plate. And even though my children are around, that kind of busyness feels to me a lot lighter than actually the organising. So I actually feel like I have more space for my business in many ways and more space for kind of the creative side of my business. So when I was sat thinking, what can I talk about on this podcast today? I thought about a social media post that had been really popular, and it was about the advice that I give my students on repeat. And actually, I thought about how this is so relevant to anyone that runs a baby business, whether you're a baby massage teacher, whether you're an established hypnobirthing teacher, whether you're a doula, whether you're a sleep consultant, whatever you do in your business, I am pretty certain that this common advice that I give my students will be something that you need to hear today. And maybe it's going to remind you of ultimately the wonderful work that you do and how to have more success. So I am going to go through the advice that I give my students on repeat. This is the stuff where I feel like, oh my gosh, I've said this so many times, but I know for many of them it's brand new information. But I feel like, oh my gosh, this is my staple stuff, the things that I'm forever talking about, because I know it's important. And this advice that I give my hypnobirthing teacher students, yes, some of it relates to them running great courses, but some of it also relates to running great businesses too, and starting their businesses like it's a big deal. And you might be in a completely different stage of your business to that, but I tell you what, these bits of advice are always useful to myself, so I know they will be useful to you as well. So let's get started. So the first thing that I am often saying on repeat, and if you are someone that is in my community, I'm hoping that you have heard me saying this lots, and that is that less is more. And this applies to so many things, but particularly your sessions. So if you are a business owner that runs classes, courses, offers coaching, whatever it may be, it's remembering that less is more. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that ultimately human beings that you are in front of are not ever going to retain everything that you talk about, everything that you teach them, all the tools, all the things that you do with them. They're never going to retain it all. And actually, if you focus on fewer things and do it in a more powerful way, they will leave with so much more. Often, when we're trying to be so of value and so useful and so great for our clients, our customers, we try and cram everything in. We try and make what we do so full, but as a result, it can be super overwhelming. And as much as the people in front of us are nodding along, they're actually picking and choosing what they're holding on to. So the biggest favour you can do for your clients, your customers, is strip it back. Focus on key messages rather than many messages. You know, think about the key takeaways you want them to leave with, the things that are so important to your sessions. Keep them in and cut some of the stuff that are actually just overloading your sessions. Number 2, market your business like you are speaking to one person. I'll repeat that again in case you're multitasking. Create your marketing like you are speaking to one person. So when you are writing your website, or when you are posting on social media, or when you are creating a podcast for someone, whatever it may be, speak, write, or whatever, like you are speaking directly to that one person who needs your service. When you do that, they will hear you. They will feel like, oh my gosh, this is so for me. Plus, it takes away all the nerves, all the second guessing, all the trying to suit everyone, and it becomes so much easier for you to market your business. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't want to just attract that one person. Well, worry not. There'll be many, many more people like that one person that thinks like them, that has the same worries, that has the same objections to do in your course. And if you are speaking like you are speaking directly to them, believe it or not, you'll actually be speaking really clearly to many people, and your marketing will be so powerful. Number 3, avoid talking at your clients. So whatever you offer in your services, you know, whether you offer baby classes, whether you host information sessions, you know, maybe it's antenatal courses, whatever it may be, avoid going into lecture mode. And yes, if you teach baby massage, you might think, well, this is irrelevant to me. It's not. I've been to baby classes where I'm like, oh, can you please stop telling me about all the benefits of this and let's just blooming do it, you know? Avoid the lecture and really thinking about the doing. Now, if you are indeed an antenatal educator, or maybe you're a doula that offers antenatal classes, or maybe you're a hypnobirthing teacher, or maybe you're a sleep consultant, so you teach about sleep, it can be easy to think, okay, I'll prepare for my session by doing a juicy PowerPoint, yeah? It'll stop me forgetting things and it will give me that place that, you know, I can constantly refer to and rinse and repeat and use again. Yeah, but actually the way that you deliver it might feel very much like a lecture. Lecture style learning has such a low retention rate. We don't remember it. When we are sitting and listening to big chunks of information, we remember such a small amount of that. Whereas when we are doing more practical things, or we're hearing anecdotes, or we're seeing visual aids, or we're getting to chat to the people around us about a certain topic, oh my goodness, we have so much more light bulb moments through that. And ultimately, if you are in the business of giving people transformations in terms of how they view something or the tools they have for something, we want them to be having those big light bulb moments themselves. Now, they're not going to get that from you just telling them stuff. So really think about breaking up your sessions. And again, this relates to one of the things that I said earlier about less being more. We can break things up if we let go of some of the other things. Keeping things in and actually only being able to deliver it in a lecture format is not going to be as powerful as actually thinking, how can I get this across in a really great way? And I say this when I'm training hypnobirthing teachers because I know many different hypnobirthing training schools out there teach that approach. That's how I was trained, to literally sit in front of my clients and deliver information to them as though I was almost like reading from a book. And right from the get-go, I was like, oh my gosh, I am not going to sit in front of clients for 2.5 hours and just tell them loads about the mind-body connection and the birth process and all their options. Oh my gosh, they are going to fall asleep. And right from the get-go, I had to make it more interactive. Now, that came quite naturally to me as a former secondary school teacher, and I know that isn't the case for everyone, and that's exactly why when I train hypnobirthing teachers, I give them all those tools to do that. Now, if you are thinking about the way that you teach your classes, simple ways of breaking things up can be as simple as including more stories. If you're talking about, I don't know, sleep patterns in your business as a sleep consultant, and you've got a great anecdote from a friend of yours that really demonstrates a point about how we can get well into our heads about sleep trouble, share that story. Stories are several times more memorable than facts alone. If you can stop them for a moment and say, okay, I'd like you to chat to the person next to you about this. I'd like you to think about X, Y, Z. I'd like you to list as many blah blahs as you can think of. Yes, it's taking a few minutes away from what you're talking about, but you're providing them with that space so that they're going to absorb so much more of what you're talking about. It encourages interaction and it makes sure that they get the most out of whatever you are offering them. Number 4, follow up. I cannot say this advice enough. And believe me, I don't always take my own advice, but I expect you to. So, if you are a business owner, your bookings will come from the follow-up. So if somebody has inquired about your service, you've given them their information and they have gone quiet, follow up, check in with them. So many bookings come from that next contact or even the one after that. So if you simply get into the habit of following up at least once, maybe even twice, maybe even 3 times, you are going to get so many more bookings in your business. So that is certainly a bit of advice that I am constantly giving my students, and I want you to hear it today. Number 5, listen more. Listen more and talk less. What do I mean by that? Well, when I'm training women to be incredible hypnobirthing teachers, we actually talk a lot and practice the skills of being a really good listener. And this absolutely enhances the way that we deliver our courses. And many of us have lost the art of being a great listener. And that's because as kind, lovely people, we often feel like we have to fix everyone. We have to give them all the possible advice we can possibly think of. And as a result, we're failing to hear what they actually say because we are so focused on what we can respond with or what similar experiences we've had. Now, whatever you do in your baby business, whatever service you have, you are working with parents or parents-to-be, going through a really challenging part of their life that comes with so many emotions. And however wonderful this modern world is with all the information that's out there, what there is a lot of information and not a whole lot of listening. So in your business, offering your wonderful services, you might be one of the few spaces where your clients are actually heard. Knowing that you are giving them a great service by being there to actually hear them, to actually hold space for them, without needing to jump in and fix things and give them, 15 pieces of advice. Listening is enough. Also, on this point, when I'm saying listen more, this also relates to your marketing too, and maybe I could do a whole podcast episode all about this, why listening is going to help you in your marketing. Let's not assume what our clients want or how our potential clients feel. Let's listen. And when you hear the things that they are talking about, the things that are worrying them or playing on their mind, if you can weave this into your marketing, my goodness, you are going to enhance your marketing so much. So when you're writing your web page about your sessions, and you're mentioning some of these things that so many of your clients say, you're really speaking to those potential clients and making what you offer be so right for them. You're communicating that so well, and that comes from actually hearing what those people say and want and what's important to them. Not making assumptions, not basing it on what we wanted, how we felt, but actually listening to the voices of the people that we want to attract in our businesses. Now, I'm saying listening, but this doesn't have to be actually listening with our ears. Actually, we might come across Facebook groups with our potential clients in them, and we might see the types of posts they write, the types of questions they ask. Through that listening and seeing what they are saying, again, we are able to get a fuller impression of what our clients need from us and how we can communicate that in our marketing. So listen more and talk less. Number 6. Well, I think it's number 6. I think I've lost count. Number 6, bit of advice that I say on repeat to my Hypnobirthing teacher students, and you need to hear too, is that the work that you do is precious. It's amazing. It's life-changing. It's like work that everyone should have access to. And you're allowed to make it sustainable. So despite the fact that what you do is so heart-led, so important to you on a personal level to give those people these incredible spaces, these incredible services, it's magical, it's sacred even, yet you are allowed to make it sustainable. So what do I mean by that? Well, you're allowed to charge well. It's essential you charge well. If you are not charging well, it's not going to be sustainable. You are going to get burnt out quickly. Yeah? You are allowed to run this as a profitable business that actually serves you and your family. And that's going to mean that you are in this for the long game. You are allowed to make money from something that is doing good. The good people in the world absolutely should be rewarded, right? So absolutely, you can make this sustainable. You can make money from doing this wonderful work. There is no problem with that. There is no shame. And actually, isn't it wonderful that you get to do good work and you get to be rewarded from it? How fab is that? And how fab is demonstrating that to the younger generations? Maybe if you've got children, showing them that, you can do both. You can make a difference and you can make money. It doesn't have to be two separate things. Number 7 is you do not need to know everything. So whatever is your speciality, so whatever is your role, you are never going to know everything about that thing. And you will always feel like there is more for you to know, there is more for you to learn. Don't let that feeling stop you taking things forward. You know enough right now to make a difference to people. You know more than your clients. You are more than ready. You're not going to know everything, and it's totally okay if your classes, your courses, your sessions keep evolving and keep getting better. We all start somewhere, and right now, somebody is out there that needs your services. They haven't got time to wait until you have read more books. You know enough right now, so get out there and start making a difference and stop holding off. Number 7, my final bit of advice that I'm forever repeating and you need to hear too is that repetition matters. Repetition matters massively. And if you are someone that teaches courses, yes, we're talking about that in terms of when we are teaching people things. Telling people something once is often not enough. Repeating it once, twice, 3 times lets it sink in. So if you're a hypnobirthing teacher, for example, and you've taught them a breathing technique, there's power in that repetition. Starting the next session, doing it again, it makes it stick. So including repetition when you are delivering your courses is so important. It's going to make your courses much more effective and leave people with those skills that they can take forward. Repetition also matters in your marketing. It's okay to feel like you are bored of saying the same things. That means you're just good at your marketing, If you feel like you're forever saying that hypnobirthing is for all births, or you're forever saying that, baby massage classes are a great place to meet new friends, whatever it may be that you are constantly saying, that is good marketing. And so many of us feel like we constantly have to reinvent the wheel, creating new fresh stuff when actually stuff that we've already been saying works really well. And if we just repeat it more, we're really allowing those people to receive that message. Let's think about it. When we are advertised things, when we're watching TV, we are not seeing different adverts every time. The Coca-Cola advert, it's always the same. Even when John Lewis do that fabulous Christmas ad, you don't see it once and then they create a different one the day after. You see that ad over and over again, so it repeats that message and it sticks. We must be repeating the key things in our marketing so people hear the message loud and clear. So repetition in our courses and repetition in our marketing, because that's how people absorb messages. Good marketing involves a lot of repetition. Don't forget it. It's so simple, yet so powerful. And let's face it, it's going to save you a whole lot of time if you are able to rinse and repeat, reuse, post things out again, because those messages are only going to become more powerful. Repeat, repeat, repeat. So there you have it, my advice that I am constantly giving my students that I hope has been useful to you today. As always, I love to hear your feedback on this podcast. The thing about having a podcast, as much as it's lovely, I can, decide to record wherever I want. So for today, for example, here I am recording an episode in my living room while there's some kind of carnage going on somewhere else in my house and my husband is dealing with it. The downside is I don't see your light bulb moments. I don't hear about those. I don't hear what you like about the podcast or what you think could be even better. So please, please, please do come over to my Instagram at loveyourBirth_training and let me know what you are liking about this podcast. Share with me your suggestions because I am forever grateful. And please, please, please help this podcast grow by sending it to your friends. If you've got friends that work in the baby business world and they could do with that weekly dose of ideas and inspiration, please do them and me a favour by sending it their way. And if you are listening to this episode and you currently have a different type of baby business, so maybe you're not a hypnobirthing teacher, actually you're curious about becoming one, and you're thinking, could I add this to my repertoire? I can't even say that word, repertoire. I can't say it at all. Repertoire? That's the one. If you feel like you would like to investigate whether it would be a good service to add, in September, I am hosting a free session, free training that is going to let you explore whether teaching hypnobirthing could be for you. Over the course of 3 sessions, you will learn all the basics and all the essentials of being an incredible hypnobirthing teacher. So you get to try before you buy and really explore how you could make a success of this and what your courses could look like. If that's something that you're interested in, come over to my Instagram and DM me the word free training and I'll send you all the details. I would love to see you there because then we'll get to actually interact, not like this podcast. And as always, if you would be kind enough to leave me a review on this podcast, I would be forever grateful. So let me quickly run through those 8 top tips, those 8 bits of advice that I will forever share. Number 1, less is more. Number 2, create marketing content like you are talking to one person. Number 3, avoid talking at your client. So don't lecture them. Get them actively involved. Number 4, follow up, follow up, follow up. So keep following up those past inquiries. Number 5, do more listening and less talking. So actually listen to your clients rather than feeling like you have to fix them all the time. And listen to potential clients. What do they want? What do they need for you to share in your marketing? Number 6, your work is incredible and you deserve to be rewarded for it. You deserve to be able to create a sustainable business. It's not one or the other. Number 7, you don't need to know everything. You know enough. Get out there. Make a difference. Stop waiting until you have got more knowledge in your brain. You are more than ready and you can absolutely impact people's lives right now, just as you are. And number 8, repetition matters. Repeat in your classes, repeat in your marketing, because that's how things stick. So I really hope that's been useful. Have a lovely day and I shall catch you next week for the next episode of Rockabye Revenue. Have a fabulous day. Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.